don't have a... What's up, Catfish World? How you doing? The dynamic duo is back. We are on Lake Wiley again. We got our chores done, got some grass cut and all that kind of stuff. And Grayson wanted to go fishing, so we decided to... Mama said we could go for a couple hours, so we're going to fish till, I don't know, probably about midnight or so. So, love the duo. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're going to come out. We're following up Catfish Weekly. Hopefully all of y'all watch that. What we're going to do is make this into a Monday night ritual. It's going to be like a, there's going to be Luke from Northwoods Angling, and then there's going to be Dieter Melhorn Fishing, and then we're going to get, who else can we get? We'll get Chris Flores at Muddy River Catfishing to go live. So it will be a non-stop action. It'll be Monday night Catfish Live from 8 to midnight. That's my plan. It's not happening yet, but it's my plan. So we have Catfish Weekly first, and then me, and then we'll let it go out to the West Coast so the West Coast can pick up the stuff for West Coast. What's up, Chris Hovis? How you doing, buddy? Nice talking to you today. Hope you're doing well. What are you punching, kid? Oh, you're going back.
It's almost
coming to you from, okay, there we go. Got some people, Oklahoma, very good. Good little crowd. Catfish Weekly is on there. What do you think, Catfish Weekly? We just have this entire live thing going on the whole Monday night. It'll it'll be like Monday Night Raw, except it'll be Monday Night Catfish. Yay. So, any night shark fishing. I do not shark fish at night from a boat. It's funny, Grayson just asked me about that a minute ago. If I would go fishing at night for sharks, and I don't take my boat in the ocean.
Would you at least go inside the jetties?
I might inside the jetties, but yeah, I'm not taking my boat at night into the ocean. It's not that big, and yeah, that's crazy.
I know the real reason. Ready?
Why?
Because you don't want. Jeez, that's
I'm what? What was that, like saying I'm scared or something?
Okay.
Oh, dang it. Lee just mentioned a flathead. We have got the skunk out of the boat. Did we, we caught a flathead.
One flathead.
As a matter of fact, we had to click it off just now.
That's seven, you did.
It was literally that big. It was probably, it actually was on the, it hit the sabiki rod, or the perch rod that we had in the water that I was trying to catch some perch with. So yeah, a little bitty flathead, probably 2 pounds. So there you go. I saw somebody said something about using some techniques on the Tennessee River. Hey, from Montgomery, Alabama. Robert down there. Very cool.
Yay, Montgomery, Alabama.
Grayson was just near there a couple of weeks ago. Trying out some, who was at
university.
Xavier's going to try some of the stuff on Tennessee River. Very cool, man. Let us know. Post in the comment section below how you doing, Tennessee. I'm curious how the bite is out there. We've got some family out that way and a place to stay, and Grayson's been wanting to go back out there, so we're thinking about going out there. My son got his first flathead yesterday. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Nice job.
Wait, how we're supposed to...
Catfish. We'll call that the catfish clap.
How we pronounce it. The special way.
Okay, I don't know what that was. Anyway, yeah, congratulations on that flathead. It's time to start catching them now. The late Robbie Robinson used to always say, don't even fish for flatheads until after July 4th, and it's after July 4th, so they're starting to bite. I'm hearing more and more people catching them. They've been catching them for a couple weeks now, so I think they're done with their spawning stuff. And it's, let me see what speed is. Okay, we're moving. Just to bring you up to date, we got it here. Wait. What do we hear here? What do we hear? I'm heading out to Paris. Oh, I thought you said Paris Island. I was going, oh my God, you're going to basic training. That's terrible. No, Paris Landing. Okay, very cool. Yeah, let us know how that goes.
Grace, you got a bug on your head.
Yeah, we got bugs all over
Who's
us here.
Grace you?
Grayson, that's probably you.
Grace you.
Oh, it's probably somebody doing voice to text, and God knows what you get. Bring you up to date on what we're doing.
Just kidding.
We are...
JK.
Trolling. I know last night, if you watched the feed, we anchored up. It was so windy, it busted the anchors loose, and we went to drift. And we actually caught some fish then. We anchored up for a few minutes on a little shallow point. Hey, grab a drink out of there while you're up there, pal.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's what I was doing.
That's where we caught the flathead, and we sat there for just a little bit. And that was one of those places that there was either going to be fish or not, so we didn't sit there too long. A little bit before dark until just now. So we came out to the mouth of this creek, and we are now trolling. And I'll tell you, it's hot. And when it's hot in the Carolinas, nothing cools you off like cool, refreshing Sundrop. Diet Sundrop. Why diet? Well, the first 4 letters are in my name.
Dieter Sundrop.
Take that with you. Think about it.
Dieter Sundrop.
Think about that. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're trolling right now. We got 6 rods out. Pretty simple setup. Nothing fancy. We've got some perch and some brim. And I'm going to pour this into the Sharkapalooza Yeti that my wife made with her little vinyl wrap there. There's the shark. I'll have a catfish edition out soon. If you didn't notice, I uploaded a video, shark fishing video, in honor of Discovery Shark Week, which started last night.
I'm a Sundrop addict. Sundrop addict too.
Shark Week is on now on Discovery, so I'm putting up some of my shark fishing videos that I shot earlier this year. So you'll have some shark fishing, but you'll still hopefully have some live stuff. I'm going to try to do something tomorrow. I've got to work Wednesday and Thursday. Work is gross, and it interrupts fishing, but it also pays the bills. So until I get a million...
What's your biggest blue this year, Dieter?
What's the biggest this year?
I don't know. I've been fishing with you the whole year.
I think I've had 2 right at 50. I had that one on July 4th, which you haven't seen yet. It'll be on the video soon. I just got it edited.
Wait, what's my biggest this year?
It was like 50 pounds, 3 ounces. You had a 30-something, hadn't you?
I think.
I think you had a 30-some.
My biggest blue ever is 60.
60, yeah, you had one a little over 60. But yeah, I think I've had a couple in the 50s, no 60s this year, but I think a couple right around 50. Maybe there was one in Tennessee, there was one that was 50-ish. So right around 50, somewhere in there, which is great.
Wait, then I caught a 50. Because I went to Tennessee with you and I caught all the fish.
No, this is the trip I went alone. This is the first, when you were doing your gymnastics competition. That's when it was at.
You went to my picture.
I did, but I was out there before you fishing. Yeah, I left you and fished. So anyway.
How dare you?
So that's, so yeah, it's been a great year, honestly. I've had a really great year. Normally my goal, kind of aim, if I can get 1 fish over 50 pounds, I call it a good year. And I know I've got 2. I've got 2 so far, and that's good. And that's the way it is for these lakes. I know if you're fishing the James River or someplace like that, they got bigger fish, and but here on this reservoir, or in this chain of lakes, really in the Carolinas, if you can pluck a 50 out, you're having a good year.
Up good.
Thank you, thank you. It's actually, sadly, it's not even playing. That's the scary part.
Wait,
Ron's looking good. You listening back there? Okay.
Nope.
But yeah, it's been a good year so far. At the end of the year, I'm going to do an end of the year wrap up video that will show some of the numbers I keep. I track a bunch of stuff in my fishing log, and I'll show you and compare it to last year and some others. I'm already planning to do that. I keep daily numbers, and I keep track of groups of fish, teener size, 20s, 30s. Pardon us, there's a plane flying over right now as we sit here. So.
Oh, look at that. It's like, what kind is that?
It's an Airbus. It's an Airbus something. I can tell by the sound it's an Airbus. Of course, nowadays that's pretty easy since all of the big heavies are almost all Airbus. But anyway.
I'm turning my headlamp off also.
That's an aviation topic. That's another show. But Lyle, how did the show go tonight? Hopefully it went well. We did not get to tune in because we were finishing up with grass cutting, getting the boat hooked up, so we didn't get to watch any of the show by the time we tuned in. What's your biggest cat you catch? What's the biggest cat you catch this year? I think you might have just missed it. 50 pounds. I got, I think, 2 right around 50, somewhere in there. It's been a good year.
What's my biggest this year?
30-something, I believe. It seemed like you had a 30-some somewhere. I know you had a 20-something in Tennessee when we were out there, which we're going to try to get back out to Tennessee here soon. The bite should be...
Didn't you have the state record at one point, once?
Who?
You.
No, I've never had a state record. No.
That's my dad with his...
No, there wasn't. Wait, what's, you need to watch it later. I showed the rig wrap case. Oh, you showed the rig wrap cases. Very cool. Very cool.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
cool. I like them. I'm going to get my hands on some bigger ones and put them to use here at some point. For y'all that tuned in late, we're drifting. We've got out 6 rods. We've got perch and white perch and brim kind of split up evenly. Got some heads, some fillets. And so far, no takers. We're cruising along at about 0.4. There's really no wind out here tonight, so I'm using a trolling motor to move. Thus, it's called trolling instead of drifting like we were doing last night. They're sort of the same. sorta. In the way we do it on reservoirs, drifting is basically you're moving with the wind since there's no current. I know drifting, the term used on rivers, is different, and there's a different way of fishing, but ours is just basically blowing with the wind. Or you are using a trolling motor and trolling, using the motor to move the boat. So we're trolling tonight because it is dead calm out here. Somebody just chimed in with their new subscriber. What did I say? I'm a new subscriber, live 12 minutes from Allison Creek Dock. Watch your locating perch on sonar, found them and caught 15 in 15 minutes with my kids. Thanks for the great advice. Clap. That's cool. That's awesome. Glad you learned something on that. Actually, that may have been the video Grayson was...
What is Grayson's age? 10.
10.
Oh, correction.
10.
Correction, calling you out. My name is spelled Gracen.
It's going to pick on you, Lyle. No, back to the perch thing. That may have been the trip where Grayson and his buddy from the gym were on. And that was a pretty good one. That place there in Allison Creek near the power lines, that point, usually will hold perch in this time of the year. So that's a good place to hit. And hopefully, that's all right, trust me.
Fine,
I told him, yeah, it's fine. He just likes to be the little
girl
man.
a lot, so that's
His hair gets usually a girl. He gets that all the time, too.
I'm like,
so.
oh, you were so pretty. I'm like,
It's
yeah.
so pretty. Have we got that rod good? Oh, no.
Let's find
If
out.
anyone is watching from Big Cat Fever rods, catch the fever,
LOL.
you need to make white rods, okay? I like your rods. They're great.
You better.
You need to make white rods. Why, on the name of anybody, would they make a black fishing rod when so many people fish at night for catfish? Need a white rod. White tips ain't enough. We want the whole rod white. So there's my manufacturing, marketing
White
piece of
tips.
advice for the world. White rods for night fishermen. They're the greatest thing in the world.
Daddy, how much is the rig wrap?
Let me see what the rig wraps is. Those little. What do you do for a living? I actually.
He's a photographer.
You'll actually.
He shoots races.
You'll actually
and
laugh at this. I actually do video production for a living. So the irony is I'm shooting all this out of an iPhone right now, and all my videos that I put up online are from a GoPro camera. So it's kind of the running joke that I've got $100,000 worth of broadcast TV equipment and I'm doing it on $500 worth of cheap cameras. But yeah, what we do is totally a different world than doing this. This is fun and cool and all that kind of stuff. I used to have a pole with a mag line. The handle they makes them anymore. It's a pole with a mag. Now, are you talking about a light for fishing with? It's funny what I've got. I've actually got one of the video lights we use. What I used to do when I fished tournaments and fished more at night was I had a painter's pole, and on the end of the painter's pole I had an LED shop light. It was a light you used to work on a car that could plug into a cigarette lighter. And you can, if you get a cigarette lighter on your boat, you can plug it into that, or you can take a pair of snips and put alligator clips on and clip it straight onto a battery, and you can run that light up. The great thing about running that light up is, one, it lights up the entire boat, and two, when you get bugs, the bugs are up there 8 feet above you instead of down here where you're at. So just a little tip there. Painter's pole, zip tied on there. It's a redneck fishing light. It works great. So that's actually why this white thing is still on the boat, because it went right in there next to the console.
I have a question though. I have a question.
Hang on. Let's see. Are you trying to troll a specific depth? No, I'm not. And by the way, thank you for saying I'm awesome. That's a little much, but yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. But yeah, back to the depth. Not really. I'm just covering water really, because we found fish. The ones we found last night and the ones I caught the day before are all over the place. So there's a little bit of a thermocline out here in the river channel, but we're not really seeing it here. I'm looking at the sonar now, and it's almost looking like a plankton bloom or something going on. This is some weird effect. I'll show y'all real quick. And some other people can chime in on this, because this is a good little learning point here. We see this in the summertime. I've asked a lot of people what it is. And oh, there's a West New York fishing girl. Hello. And this is something that shows up. It's some phenomenon that only see it in the summertime at night. And I've heard it's like some kind of plankton bloom or something, to where the sonar does this. Let me pull you off of here.
Well,
Let's show you what we got here. Boom, as we flip. There we go. See all that stuff there in the middle? Now what I'll show you what the regular sonar looks like. It gets, and I've got it set on auto right now, the sensitivity, and the reason being it won't show that stuff. But when you bring that up to normal sensitivity, you get this blacking out stuff. And there's fish in it. You can look real hard. There's some bait stuff in the top of it. But we see this in the summertime. And I've heard it's, and I take that back. You see it in the summertime and you see it at night. That's the kind of the peculiar thing about it. And just to show, let me get it back to 0. It's just to show you what it looks like on the structure scan. It does the same thing. It really clogs it up. I mean, it's weird. And there's on the side image, looking through the water column. It's just a whole bunch of stuff in there. So it's a interesting phenomenon that I've never heard a clearly defined answer on. I've heard plankton bloom from a few different people, but it always happens in the summertime, and it's when the water's really, really hot. And usually the fishing is really, really bad when it happens. So we're going to drift this a little bit. This is a little bit of a learning thing on this part of the lake, and I'm going to go back to a creek that I remember 10 years ago winning a tournament in during these same kind of conditions. Had this same plankton bloom, and I was trying to get away from it to catch fish, and I went into this creek and drifted in and caught fish. So we may try that here in a little bit. But yeah, if any of y'all have any idea what you think that is, if it is plankton, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, chime in with the comment section. Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Where's good put pics to live fish?
Love creek fishing cats.
Yeah, it is. I wish you could put pictures, and I wish you could also put links in there, but I understand why they do it, because what would happen is this would turn into, all of these feeds would turn into a billboard advertisement for people, so I think that's why they're doing it. There's 37 pounds coming to Saluda River, Greenwood. Oh, very cool. It's a good fish down in that area. That's a good one. What setup are you using to drift? Yep, like somebody said, Team Catfish has white glow wraps. Yeah, there's stuff you can buy. I can put reflective tape on there, but I think it's kind of silly to add a bunch of stuff to a brand new fishing rod. It ought to already be white. That's just my opinion. But they work. I'm just, I just want them white. Oh, and somebody else about to set up. Yeah, I'm using Santee rigs. Somebody had mentioned that. That's kind of my go-to rig. It's such a, there's all kinds of different rigs you can go with. You can do the bobber thing and put out bobbers, slip bobbers, all that kind of stuff. I'll be honest with you, I think if I was maybe tournament fishing and had to catch fish and try a bunch of different stuff to dial it in, I would do that. But honestly, I go with the Santee rigs. And honestly, probably 90% of the time when I anchor up, I will use the Santee rig also and just change out either the sinker or where the cork's at. If I want the bait on the bottom, I'll just take the cork and slide it back up toward where the sinker's at, and the bait can lay flat on the bottom.
Oh my goodness, look at the temperature.
Yeah, it's 91 degrees here. Water temperature's 91. It's pretty warm. But yeah, I fish those rigs a lot. It's just a good versatile rig. It's not a cure-all. It's not perfect, but for me and my style of fishing and the way I do things, it works. So. And that's what I tell a lot of people, man. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Somebody asked last night, what's the best rod? There is no best rod. What's the best line? There is no best line. It's what works for you and your style of fishing, and that's why I tell people that watch these videos, watch what I do. It's not perfect. It's not the only way to do it. Learn from it. Watch somebody else's videos. Well, watch what Chat Cats does out there in Tennessee, fishing out there. Watch what Chris Flores does on Muddy River catfishing out there in the waters. He fishes some really small waters. And, put all that stuff together. Look at what Luke's doing up at Northwoods Angling. They do fish some cool stuff. Put all that together for your style of fishing, because everybody's got a different place they're fishing in. Some people are fishing reservoirs. They got, some people are fishing rivers, big rivers, little rivers. Are you still in the boat? You got awful quiet. Oh, he's playing with bait. I didn't hear a splash. But yeah, put all those techniques together and kind of develop what works for you and figure out what works. While bank fishing. Yeah, see, you can use some bank fishing. I mean, it's all a Santee rig is doing is floating the bait up. You've seen them, and I've got videos up. Do you use Santee rigs for suspended drifting and trolling? It's just for bottom bouncing and dragging. Now, see, there's a good example, people. how the terms are different. They're using the term bottom bouncing and dragging. What we're doing is dragging, really. I think they use that term more out toward the Midwest, out in Lyle's area. I think they call what we're doing dragging. Basically, actually, I may have a rig here I can show you. Yeah, I do. This is what they look like, just for people that don't know. On the moneymaker end, there's a hook. A little bit up from it is a slip cork that is adjustable. You can put that cork all the way out to there. There are times when you may want to do that, when you want it close, to really put that up off the bottom, or you can slide it up and down through here and it can hang down. Now what happens on the other end, that leader, 18 to 24 inches. However, you can make it 4 or 5 feet long if you really want to float baits up. On the other end is a snap swivel. Okay. On that snap swivel, you put a weight. Another way to do this, you can use a sinker slide instead of the swivel, instead of the snap, putting the weight on there. The only problem is when you anchor up, then you've got to make sure you have a tight line, or this thing will float up out of that slide and your bait may be 5 feet up off the bottom. But yeah, there's a snap swivel, and then you put your bait on there, tie back into there. I've got a video that shows in a little bit better explanation of how it works, but it basically just floats down through there. You get your weight down here and it will float up as high as you want. And if you have special corks, you hear that? They rattle. Does it make a difference? I don't know. I know this, I've caught a lot of fish with them, and it may. So you can put rattles in them. I'm going to do a video and show you how to do all that. What cork are you using? I think those are 2.5 inches, I think. These are what I call my go-to ones. These are like the normal, I think that's 2.5. Is that right? Yeah, 2.5. And I've got some big ones, they make big ones, 3.5, 4 inches that are that big. And I'll use those when I'm floating like a big gizzard shad head, or a big brim head, or a big perch head, one of these heads off a 1.5 pound perch. When you're floating one of those down through there to keep it up off the bottom, because those small ones won't keep a big bait off the bottom. That bait will end up dragging on the bottom and getting hung. And that's usually when you get hung and snagged on those things, and when you got a bait that's too big. What you do is you put your bait on and just drop it into the water, and you'll see whether it sinks or not. Good evening, Team Rig Wrap. Welcome to the hood. Man, I get to jacking my jaws and everybody gets quiet. I don't know if they're falling asleep or if they're listening or going to get coffee. Let's see if I missed anything over here on the feed side. Grayson, are you still back there?
Maybe.
Okay, Grayson's still back there. That's from Cat. Ever looked at the tow truck rods from Catfish Connection? I hear a rod screaming. I hear a rod. There we go. I heard drag. Stand by. I heard a rod.
And guess who got it?
There we go. I heard that one.
We didn't hear that one.
Still on?
Yeah, he's still on. I don't know.
Where's he going? You sure he's on?
If he popped off.
I think it came off. Real. Casey's coming at the boat.
He's still on. He's
on. Okay. We don't have a drip sock, so you're okay.
The thing is, I want to set the motor under this rod. So.
There you go.
Crap. Dad, I'm gonna need you to move this rod right here.
All right, hang on.
You won't.
Let me see what we got here. Watch the motor. See where we're at. I don't want to get him near that motor. Go to that side.
I can't.
All right, do this. Come around this way. All that way. Good job. I don't know if he's a good gripper. Did you lose him? Popped off. Yeah. Lost him at the boat. How big was he? Folks, just so you know, this is where Grayson goes and sulks for a few minutes. He'll be out of commission for just a minute. Let me get a bait back in the water. That was, I'm not sure what size bait. How big was he, Grayson?
I don't know. Right now, I'm scared.
Yes, folks. I'm telling you, the struggle is real. That right there is the look of a defeated angler. He is defeated.
Why do you not get mad at that one? And then the big one in Tennessee, get all, and you like get trophy, you like, oh my God, Grayson lost the fish. Oh, it's the end.
Oh, he's bringing up the Tennessee story.
Yeah, you're all like, oh, I might as well just go jump off a bridge with some barbed wire into a lake. And now when you're like, oh well, okay.
Come here, sit down.
Saying football, anyone would win and lose.
Sit down.
Fishing,
Sit down.
anyone's gonna win and lose.
Sit down. That's okay.
Person versus catfish.
Come here, baby. Oh, him's terrible. Oh, him's so precious. Him's so precious. Oh. All right, he's over it. Good. We're back to fishing. How big was it, seriously? It looked like a decent fish, like a teener maybe.
I don't care.
He's heartbroken. He's heartbroken. It's like I told him. Let me get this light dimmed just right.
Go to Tennessee.
Fish.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we had one in Tennessee that got off, that got wrapped in some stuff, and it's like I told him. Listen, that is the whole reason that I fish is.
50
Yeah, that's the way you tell the story. Is 50 plus. Listen, if you're not losing, you're not trying hard enough.
Grayson, it was 16. Oh, you misspelled my name. Ooh, I'm calling you out. My name is spelled Gracen, not Grayson.
Right. If you're not losing, you're not trying hard enough. I mean, that's always been my saying. You're gonna lose fish. It's gonna happen. You're not gonna get them all in the boat. It ain't nothing about the hooks, the rod, the line. Sorry, I'm adjusting my sonar. It just happens. That C-E-N, Gracen. Yep, that's why they call it fishing, not catching, exactly. I mean, you know, we can make this very easy to catch fish. We can use, you know, 150-pound line.
There we go.
Steel leaders and all that kind of stuff. But that takes all the fun out of it. You know, that's the thing about sporting means. The sporting means is that the fish have a chance. And that fish had a chance. For whatever happened, I don't know if it got, did it get tangled in the line? Was there another line right near it? You know, he's got a chance to get away, so that's what makes it sporting. So,
yep, that's how you spell it.
Bear with me just a second. I'm gonna double check these lines back here just to make sure nothing's tangled.
Wait. How much do these cost, Daddy? How much does the rig wrap cost?
Not sure. Worry about it right now.
Okay, commercial break.
Hang on a second.
Go get some rig wrap. Really nice. There's some rig wrap. There's some. Oh, here we go. Line and there's a hook in here for everything that you need, and I don't know how much it costs, so it's really amazing.
Folks, ignore his product endorsement. It does not come with hooks. It comes in two to a pack. So, look what it does to the color balance. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Anyway. Making sure Yahoos can see me back there. Anyway. Did I hear something else? Anyway, that's it was probably a teener size fish is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking teener, so it happens. It happens. For those of y'all that just joined in or came in late or whatever, I'm Dieter Melhorn. And this is my son Grayson, Gracen. Just so that's his hang up. We both have weird spelled names, so we're used to it.
His name's Dieter.
That's right, you can spell it.
Dieter.
Which I'm obviously not. But anyway, we're out fishing tonight on Lake Wiley. Had a couple hours to come out and fish. We're trolling right now. We're in 27 feet of water and cruising along at about 0.4, 0.5. And behind us, it sounds like all of the crappie fishermen are leaving the bridge because they were stacked up underneath the bridge here earlier.
And for all you people that don't say crappie, it's crappie.
Crappie. Yeah, we don't want to offend any of our people in other parts of the country. So that's a Carolina thing. It's crappie here. Those are those little sunfish that
you go to Tennessee,
everybody loves, in case y'all don't know what we're talking about. So, yeah, they're crappie in Tennessee, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because my aunt's dad, I said, what do you fish for? He said, I fish for some crappie. I'm like, uh-oh. I was like, what is crappie?
I think it's something people in the Carolinas invented so that... Did I hear a run? No, that was something else.
Dieter and Grayson on Catfish Weekly.
Now,
oh my God, that's my dream. To be on Catfish Weekly.
It's a dream. Now I'm hearing drag pulling. People say it both ways here in New York. Now, see, I figured the Yankees would say crappie. I just figured they would. That's what I was getting ready to say. I think people in the Carolinas started calling it crappie just so they could tell the people that weren't from here. All right. Anyway, it's a good crowd tonight. Thanks for joining in, everybody. I appreciate y'all coming in and watching and throwing your comments in here. What's it? I can't wait to see the Melhorn rig wrap. Yeah, that's Grayson's dream, is to do a rap video or something. We'll save that for the Catfish conference. I'm going to push that off until next year, until I find my... I tell you who we could get, and I know who could write one, and that's probably Hook 'em in the Mouth. I think Hook 'em in the Mouth could come up with one. I think he's got somebody doing music for him. He's got some good hip-hop music, and I think he could get somebody to do it. I can't write music, son. I can't write music.
I can think of stuff. Be like,
Sorry.
My name's Dieter Melhorn.
Bad connection. We're getting the bad connection sign. Whoop. Bad connection. Bad connection. Whoop. Whoop. Hopefully y'all can still see me. I think what happens here is I can't see anything you folks are putting up, and that's too bad. We'll keep rambling for a few minutes here. I'm going to drag a little bit further here, and then we're going to make a move. I was saying earlier, some of the people just chimed in, I'm putting up some of my shark fishing videos from earlier this year in honor of Shark Week on Discovery Channel. Their free plug. It lags, then comes back. Okay. Okay. What bait am I using? We are using white perch and brim. We had some left in the tank from yesterday and the past couple of days. So, had some live bait, had some on ice. Used good and hip hop in the same set. I'm telling you, if...
Good hip hop. Hip hop good.
Is there a boat over there with no lights?
I'm sorry. What?
That's on the other side of the bend. There's nothing worse than hearing a boat and not seeing it. Because generally, if they're dumb enough to run down the lake without lights on, they probably can't see you. So, anyway. But back to the hip-hop thing. If I was really trying to trend on the millennials and sub-millennials, I'd have to have me some hip-hop music. But
because of me.
Luckily, I can keep it at Southern Rock. Luckily, his demographic, while he's entertaining, they don't make any money for the advertisers in this niche market. So, but we still love him because he's just so precious. Oh, he's so precious. You know that's the hand I cut bait with, right? Right. Okay.
You gotta remember, I pulled out a dead gar of the lake in Tennessee.
That's true. If y'all have not seen that video, watch that. It's one of my Tennessee videos. We dropped the boat in the water, and I'm dropping the boat in, and I pulling over, and I seen the gar there dead on top of the water, and I go park the truck and coming back down there, and he's dug the gar out of the lake and is up on the pier examining it. But anyway, speaking of gar, we saw one yesterday. That was pretty cool.
It was black. It
was almost black. It was a long-nosed gar.
You like salted cut bait?
I've never used salted cut bait, to be honest. That's a good question. I don't tweak bait a whole lot with like recipe stuff. Mainly because 99% of what fish eat are fish. I mean, catfish. They're 99% of what they eat are fish. And what I mean by that is something in the water, fish, a mussel, something like that. So,
anything that,
there's not a lot of chickens in the lake is what I'm getting at. We've checked. There ain't no chicken livers floating around in the lake. So
I'm trying to catch my first long-nosed gar this year.
All right, now, West New York Fish Girl, that's a very interesting topic because I, too, want to put together a lure to do that. And we're getting off on a tangent topic here, but it may be interesting to someone. There used to be a guy on Lake Lanier in Georgia called Garman Jack. He's now passed away. But he had a lure, and there's all kinds of ways of making these things, but it's kind of a rope deal, cotton rope type deal with some hooks in it. And I'm trying to find one of the lures. He used to sell them, and none of his stuff's around anymore, but I'm trying to find somebody who's got one. I just want to see it. But they basically troll Oh, I got to come back to Captain Daryl. Hang on. They troll them across the top of the water, and you troll them behind the boat, and fish comes up, and instead of hooking it, it's very hard to. Oh, that was you. It's very hard to hook them, but you get the rope tangled in their teeth. So I want to do it. I think it would be fun. We've got some pretty big ones in here, and if I can ever break the 20-pound mark on a long-nosed gar, I'll get it mounted. That would be cool.
Oh God, Daddy, this
What?
has been going out.
Oh God, start reeling. Here's a tip, folks.
There's apparently, I think there's a fish on this.
Well, reel and say it's 9 miles out. I was letting line go out, and sometimes every now and then you forget, and the line just keeps going and going and going and going. Do I change peg float size?
Show 'em how much line's in this.
Yeah, that was a full spool of line. Just keep reeling some. Ow, hit you in the head. Keep reeling there, matey. No, I only change it when I'm using bigger bait. I'll use a bigger float, like a 3-inch float for. Stand by for a second. Let me do one thing here as we're getting toward the channel here. Hang on. Bear with me. Bear with me.
Good thing I looked over.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been any fun. Where'd we put her? The one thing I keep with me and I advise anybody to do this, if you're out on these lakes, halfway crowded, keep a spotlight. That way if you get somebody that's coming at your boat and doesn't quite see you, you light them up. And yeah, they'll see it then. So, how you doing over there reeling, bud? That's good.
You want to do the rest?
Anyway, what was there was something I wanted to get back to. There was a Mark Young comment here on Captain Daryl. Captain Daryl came up and said he helped design those rods, and that's how they were like. We love Captain Daryl stories. If y'all don't know who Captain Daryl is, Captain Daryl's a legend in his own mind here in the Carolinas, and some of you may know him, some of you may not. But one day maybe I can fish with him and we'll go live. It will be entertaining to say the least. But yeah, the thing on the guard thing, I want to try it. I think it would be cool. I think as being a guide, not that I'm a guide, but if I was a guide, I think it would be a great marketing point for taking kids out, because kids love gar. Every kid that's ever seen a gar loves them. They've got teeth, they're long, they're super long, they're not weighed that much, but they're super long. And they just look like some kind of dinosaur or something, and kids love them. And I think you could really do good taking people on gar fishing trips, especially if we're just doing a little 4-hour deal, dragging some kids out. And it's great in the summertime.
Is that close?
Let's see. Yeah, go ahead and just let that fish right there. It's out of those lines, isn't it? Yeah, just put it in that rod holder there.
I want to really cast it out.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good there. The other thing about gar is that I think if you were a fishing guide, it would be great, because you would use this technique in the summertime when it's really, really hot. And that's when everybody seems to want to go fishing, because they're on vacation and it's summertime, so that's the time to fish, they think. And it's actually a horrible time to go catch catfish. So it would actually be a good little diversion to go catch fish during one of the worst times to actually fish for catfish. What was that from? Let's say, for me to get the rods I use in white, I have to purchase 500 at a time, and everyone wants something different. Yeah, and you know, though, with a lot of the rods you make, I don't know, it depends on your market too. I mean, if you're going to guys that are tournament fishing, you know, I don't know, most tournaments that I know of are during the day. I mean, there's still some night tournaments being done, but most of them are during the day. And I think it all depends on what your market is. I just think that if I was, you do custom rods too, by the way. The Lagos custom rods are custom being custom. These here are mass produced, and they're mass produced in a factory in China or wherever they're done at. And, you know, that's why I say, I do them in white. I think this is better for the catfish world. But hey, they're not my rods. They're doing fine. They're selling plenty of them. I can paint them white if I need to. So there we go. What else we got? What did I miss here?
I actually have a question from West New York Fishing Ground.
All right. Any of your fish have mussels in them? Caught some on Norman. Yes, Robert, they do have mussels in them. The one we caught last night, as a matter of fact, you can feel the mussels in them. You feel when they have their big bulging bellies, you can roll your hand around and feel the hard masses in there. And also when you pull those fish out of the water and their bowels are sticking out, that usually means they've been eating mussels, because what happens is the mussels get inside of them and their digestive juices crack them open, and then when they pass them, their bowels actually kind of roll out of their body and open up and go back in.
What rods are you using? I can answer this. Big cat fever rods.
Yep, we got the big cat fever rods and the ugly stick catfish rods. Both of them are on the boat. It kind of depends on what I'm doing and how I'm fishing as to which ones I use. I have been using the big cat fever rods, and I actually just re-spooled them. I've been fishing for a decade with 20-pound line. They're just fine with it. But I'm doing more and more planer board fishing because I finally got some planer boards that are big enough to pull drift rigs and heavier baits and heavier weights. So I went to 30-pound line and actually spooled it up today, and I'm trying it out. And man, I can fish with you and not even leave the house. You can sit here and not catch fish from your recliner, just like we're doing. But yeah, those are what I'm using. The big cat fever rods
I get it.
They got a heavy back end and a decent tip on them. They're pretty good rods. I like to I've got some tiger rods, ugly stick tiger rods that are similar in action. The biggest difference is the length of the rod. Actually, having these big cat fever rods are 7'6", and they cast better. I don't know if it's that 6 inches is the difference in the casting, or if it's the action of the rod toward the tip that gives you a little more whip in the cast. You can chunk a nice big, I think I chunked some 8 and 9 ounce weights on them just to see how they threw, and was able to do that. I don't.
It's almost as tall as you game ball. What's his name?
What?
You game ball.
Now you're off on a tangent.
No, I'm saying those are almost.
Oh, the rod's almost as tall as Minute Ball. Yeah, close. Yeah.
That's Bobo's future height.
Grayson has become fascinated with Minute Ball. Some of y'all will remember as a basketball player. I did a shoot with his son, who was a high school basketball player, and
Grayson,
this past week, and told him about him and showed him how big he was.
What is the fish count for tonight?
Oh God, you don't want to see it. The only one we boated.
One.
Is it on there? Yeah.
One
fish. One fish. We had the one we got to the boat. Probably if I had tried to net it, we could have got it in.
But we didn't see
sort
it.
of half counted, so yeah.
It doesn't count. We didn't see it.
It's not good fishing. We finished up with how many last night? 7?
Guys, how many did we finish up with last night?
Yeah, y'all remember the weights and everything last night. I was asking what the weights were because we got like 14, 18s, 20 something.
That's unfortunate.
Well, like this one is just teeter. But yeah, so it's not super good. And actually, I really probably should have moved somewhere else. I would have moved somewhere else a little while ago, but
7.
Flash right there. I don't know what that was.
Oh, I just saw it too.
Sometimes my fans show up.
7.
Because we're in a bad drift for that point right there that's got a tree on it. Let me get hung up. Let's see if we've got any more questions in there. How far off the bottom do you have your bait? That's a very good question. We're on the bottom. Well, I take that back. It's probably floating up anywhere, depending on which rod, because I got 6 rods out, anywhere from a foot to 2 feet up. Maybe 2 feet at the most. Probably not that high. We are technically dragging, as you guys out there call it, because our baits are dragging on the bottom.
And all those Carolina people were drifting.
Yeah, and we call it drifting. I know the terms get 14. It looks like, look at Casey remembering everything. Very nice. Very impressive. But it's there's some different terms. That would be a good topic for a Catfish Weekly show, is to talk about some of the different terms and kind of come together with a little bit of commonality there on all that stuff, because we call it drifting, y'all call it dragging, somebody calls it bouncing and bumping. That's all kind of different. So that might be a good little class. It's just some explanation of what those different terms are. What was that? I felt water hit me. That's never good. Let's see if we've got any other questions in here. Oh, by the way, is Luke doing? Luke from Northwoods Angling, is he live tonight? I know he said he was talking about going fishing. I was curious if he was going live. I think he may be. What's it Glenn say? Says a scented float would work. We just have to have a way to recharge the scent. That's true. And it's funny you mention that. Somebody asked earlier what I do for a living, and I do video production. And I just got an email today about a shoot we did at a company in Charlotte, North Carolina. Scent Air Technologies, I think is the name of it. And they create scents. And I'll put a link on my Facebook page to this story when it airs. It's actually, I think, already aired. But yeah, they do scent technology. And so you go into a nice hotel and it smells good, they do that. You go into a restaurant and they want it to smell like some kind of something that they're not cooking, but they pump it in there. They do that kind of stuff. Well, what's really cool about this whole story is they do stuff for the military. And we were in their warehouse shooting stuff, and they had these canisters, just metal cans that had the base oils to make different smells. And we're looking around, and there on the shelf, there's one for like decomposing flesh, fecal matter, urine, burning wire. They had all these freaking crazy stuff. There's a light? Is there a boat right there on that point? I keep seeing a light flash. Anyway, they got all these really weird smells, and what they do is stuff with the military in training and in different special forces operations and the different things they do where they put the soldiers through different scenarios. They pump these scents into these training scenarios to kind of add some realism to it. And pretty cool stuff.
I want to smell it.
Yeah, actually, I'm not going to tell you what we figured out for Halloween, but we may have a trick for them.
You figured out for Halloween, you better tell me.
Squirrel. Yep, that's me. I'm a squirrel. I am the fishing squirrel. Something happens. It's worse during the daylight because I see more stuff.
What's fishing squirrel mean?
That's whenever, you know how a squirr's just all the time, what's that? Oh my God, what's that? That's me out here fishing. We can make a container for the floats that you can place the floats. Floats with the scent. Those floats takes the scent.
What you found out?
There you go. Because that's similar to what, what's it called? I've got some I use saltwater fishing. The gulp baits, they're scent impregnated stuff. They got the scent deal. And those things, those artificials, actually, those soft plastics, those gulp baits really, really work well on fish. The one problem with the floats is the fish will hit the floats. So that's actually an issue that we have with the Santee drift rigs, dragon rigs, we'll call them dragon rigs so everybody knows, is that a lot of times you'll get a hit, rod will fold over, you pull it in and the bait's there, and you look at the float and it'll be crushed where a catfish hit it, and they'll hit the float sometimes. That actually happens kind of often. You got to remember, catfish can't see real good. Most of these lakes, there's pretty much no visibility down there, and they're just hitting on movement and the whole lateral line sensing and stuff.
I'm laying on the front of the boat because we're not catching anything.
I know, it's really a horrible bite. We're coming up on this point. We're probably going to lose half the rigs we got. Well, I don't know. We'll see. This may get good or this may be bad.
I'll probably fall asleep. Let me know when we're about.
Grayson's getting sleepy now. It's turning into a solo show. Because it's fairly late. It's about 10:48. Now it's on the East Coast. Soaking a float wouldn't take away the buoyancy, would it? No, it shouldn't. The only thing is, this is where you get into some of that closed cell technology with these things being styrofoam. And it's a closed cell kind of deal. I don't know how much they would actually soak in. I know the soft plastic stuff is like an open cell technology that allows the fluid and stuff that they soak in to kind of stay in the bait. Because those baits, those gulp soft plastics, if you throw one on the front of the boat and come back 2 hours later, that thing goes from that to that. It shrinks up. All that open cell stuff starts to close up. So yeah, it's kind of there's some cool stuff. There's a lot, which is along a good point. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen with catfish. There's more and more stuff happening with catfish, and tilt that up just a little bit. We're seeing more and more techniques. I've seen so much in my short amount of time doing it, just with, what started out as what we call drifting, letting the wind blow the boat, turned into trolling, turned into precision trolling along a channel edge. I mean, just real precision fishing. The guys with the bottom bouncing and that kind of stuff is getting more and more precise. It's taking, and coincidentally taking, more and more skill, also more money to do it, because most of these, you guys out there that fish that really tough current, your old 12-volt trolling motor ain't going to work to move you around out there. So you either need a kicker motor or a 36-volt system with extra battery. So it hadn't gone the way of the bass world, but it's getting more to there. Now look at my sonar unit. I've got the side scan and all that stuff, and it's not gonna. We're not gonna price people out anytime soon, but I know in the tournament world it's taking more and more to compete and stay competitive. Drift sock, no, I don't have one tonight. I did last night. We have very little wind. I've got my motor going now at, what's it on? I'm on 1.5 on mine, and I'm only going 0.4. I just bumped to 0.5, which is perfect. Last night we had some wind. We had about a 10-mile-an-hour wind, a little bit more, and back current going upstream, and I had to have a big drift sock out. So what we got there. It's just don't face it. No live streaming. I just man, I forgot his chicken liver. If he doesn't have chicken liver, he'll never catch fish. So how deep are you? Well, I was 24 feet a minute ago. I'm coming up on a point. I'll show you what I'm coming up on here, just so we know what's going on. Give people. I'm coming up on this. There's a long underwater point that comes out here, and it's coming up, as you can see, pretty shallow. That looks like, didn't look solid enough. I'm not going to call it fish. Yeah, I'm coming across this point. Right there is a massive tree. I think we've cleared. I haven't seen it. I think we cleared it. Otherwise, every rod will start going and folding over. But that's kind of what we're on right now. So we're in. Sorry for moving this so much. About 14 feet. Now, for those of you that want a little, there is a lot of people don't know how to read a topo map, and I take for granted everybody knows how to do that. But when these lines get very close together, things are becoming very steep, and that is what is happening right there. It is becoming very steep. It's going to drop off very sharp on the other side. Oh, you've never seen Who Makes My Sonar? I'll show it up. There's the brand model. Oh, right there. There's the model. It's actually it is a Lowrance. I just I put the sticker across the front of it because I show it so much, and I figure since no major sonar manufacturer is putting a unit on my boat yet, that I wouldn't want to mislead anyone, so that at some point down the road, if they do, so I just figured I'd put my sticker on it. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, this is all I've ever used is Lowrance. I've got buddies, I've got the other ones. I don't know any better on any of them. They all look like they give a pretty good picture. And I actually got a really good deal on this one through Hunt Fish Paddle here in Lake Wylie. I got a really, really good deal on this thing. And my other one was getting older, and I think, I'm trying to think, no, something went wrong. I think I just wanted to upgrade. I'd saved the money, and the money sat around for 2 years, and finally decided to spend it. But let me look at these rods real quick just to make sure nothing weird is happening here. Yeah, they're starting to bop coming across that point, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, they're good units, and I wanted the structure scan and side scan just to see how I could utilize that, and I lost it or anyone else. It went out probably on the sonar thing when the phone got down. It got kind of tough. But the structure scan is nice for, as dumb as this sounds, telling whether something's a bait ball or a brush pile. Sometimes it's hard to tell on some types of bait on what it is. It's also nice in shallow water, and I've done some little videos on it. I'm going to do some more. When you get in shallow water, you're looking at a very small area underneath your boat. When you're in 8 feet of water, you're looking at 2 to 3 feet underneath your boat. I mean, you're looking at an area that big, so you're not going to see stuff. And that's where the side scan comes in handy. You can see out away from the boat, and you can pick up stuff. If there's bait, bait's the biggest thing when I go really shallow water, 2, 3, 4 feet of water, is seeing if there's bait out there. And so, what happened to the star of the show? The star of the show, does everyone want to see what the star of the show is doing? Let's take a look. think Big Man's a little sleepy, and
Bored. I'm not tired.
yeah, it's not good fishing. We kind of got into this live stream thing, and I think we've spent more time streaming and going over fishing than we have actually fishing. Normally, I would not have fished this drift this long with this poor of a bite. I can tell pretty quickly that it's not here, and if I had to do over again, I would go down there and run to the back of that creek, but I don't know if we're going to spend the time doing that.
Can we please do that?
Because, do we have a thermocline? There's a line down there. Let's look in the sun or see what else is going on. But anyway, yeah, Big Man's tired. But yeah, great questions from you guys tonight. This is some good stuff. Hopefully some people are learning something. There seems to be a pretty good collection of people, 27 to 30 people in there. Yeah, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That helped somewhere on Facebook or on YouTube with something or another. So yeah, thumbs it up. Sounds like a good collection of people going in and out. That's awesome. Checking in, see what's going on. Make sure you subscribe. That way you'll be notified. How many fish have we caught? We've caught one in the boat. We got another one to the boat. It's been hideous. What size hooks am I using? 8/0 and 6/0. That's really all I use. I use the... And well, I take that back. I've got some of these. Where are they at? Somewhere over here. Some of these 10/0 Gamakatsus. The big cat is the 10/0 version of these, but I'm not using them tonight because they're really overkill for the bait that I've got. So, do you mainly drag or do you do some suspended drifting? I'll do some suspended drifting if I can start seeing fish that are suspended. Obviously. But the bad thing is depending on the situation, I'd say 7 out of 10 times some fish are suspended or not biting. When I find them suspended, they're suspended because they're not biting. They're kind of like bass. They go suspended after water current shuts down or something like that, and they're not feeding. And you almost have to work them like you do bottom bouncing and hit them in the head with it or something. And that's just too much trouble. I'd rather find some hungry ones. But that's something that is what I was planning to do tomorrow until Grayson dragged me out here tonight. How much weight to drag? Anywhere from 1.5 ounces to 2.5 ounces, depending on how deep it is and how big the bait is. On Lake Norman's lake north of here, it's bigger and it's deeper at the dam. It's about 109 feet, and there's some stratification that goes on down there. I'm just watching a boat, sorry, make sure he's clearing us, yeah. And they get a thermocline in place, and you get a lot of fish down below it in the oxygenated water. There's like dead water in the thermocline, and they get below it and warmer water up here. And it's a good place to suspend fish. You ever caught fish that deep? The deepest I've ever caught a blue catfish, 30-some pounds, was in Monticello, and I think it was 122 feet, I think is what we caught it in. 122, 120, somewhere right around, it was right around 100 feet, somewhere right in there. Yeah, and we caught them on Norman that deep. Most of them are suspended, most of them are 45 to 50 feet down, but you can catch them on the bottom too. There will be some on the bottom down there. I want to say it's 100, I gotta look at my numbers and see, but I think it was 120. There's very few places on Lake Monticello in South Carolina that are that deep that don't have standing timber. Most of that lake around the bottoms, they left the trees standing, full size 80-foot trees, and there's just a few places, I think some old cow pastures and stuff that were in some bottoms that they left the timber, or there was no timber, so you got some narrow places you can actually fish that deep. And there are fish down there typically when it's colder for whatever reason, and it's pretty interesting because your lines are, I mean, you cast the line out, you need to put about 2 or 3 ounces on it just because of the hydrostatic pressure resistance that you get from the line in that much water. And even with a lot of line out, the line's going down to like 60 degrees. I mean, it's crazy. And it's cool. You have to bring them up. You know, you need to be fairly smart bringing them up. Once you get them up and coming, you know, keep pressure on them, but letting them decompress and all that stuff coming up. And usually try to give them time at about 30 feet. You're not going to get hung at anything. They're not going to, you know, as long as you keep pressure on them, you're going to keep them hooked. That's one of those where, you know, it's trying to be a good steward to the resource and, you know, not cause a whole lot of stress on the fish to where you have to, burp them and all that kind of stuff. If you can let them decompress on the way up, that's a lot better than bringing them into the boat and then having to burp them and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, hopefully it's been some good information tonight. I'm going to jump off of here. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm serious, shallow or I'm back deep now. I'm in 35 feet of water. I came off that point and dropped right back down, and there's probably all kinds of stratification issues here. This surface water here is almost 93 degrees. So thanks for the comment there on the Great Stream. I appreciate it. As I tell people on these things, there's lots of nuggets of information in here. It's not bullet points of do this, and do this, but there's a lot of little nuggets of stuff, and you can put it together and it'll be in the back of your mind, and hopefully it'll help some people catch some fish and have confidence in catching fish, because like I always say, that makes for our best anglers, is people who are confident catching fish know they can catch them, because then they're more apt to release them alive so that others can catch them. Nothing wrong with keeping some to eat. I keep them to eat too. Just keep the small ones. Let the big ones go. They're the best breeders. Not every fish, and we'll get into this on Catfish Weekly one day, is not every fish genetically is going to grow to 100 pounds no matter how much you feed it and how long it lives. And the ones that do get big, even to 30, 40, 50 pounds, there's something genetically about them that makes them do that, and that's why it's good to release them and let those spawn. So anyway, enjoyed it. Sincerely, thank you for jumping in and commenting. After this is over, give it 15-20 minutes. It'll be posted on YouTube. You can come back and leave any comments, questions, suggestions, any of that kind of stuff down there. And we'll see you again soon. Y'all take care.